A Stuart beam engine bought online, part 6, removing the steam chest to seal the leaking gaskets and check the slide valve. The timing was way out, so I set the slide valve in the correct position on the valve rod. But the slide valve was machined incorrectly, so I machined it to the correct dimension. After doing this, I then reassembled the cylinder to test the result. I drilled a detent in the valve gear cross shaft to locate a new grub screw tightly. Later, I drilled another 2 detents and changed the others also. Finally, I removed the cylinder to refit the base and fix yet another leak. You wouldn't think so, but there is so much wrong with this engine, and most of the faults are so small maybe you wouldn't notice them, but I do. The only reason I took this job on was because I could see there was so much wrong with this beam engine just by looking at it and having a feel at things around the engine. I thought it would make a good video series, the dangers of buying online, and generally how to put the parts right. From an hourly rate point of view, the clock is not on for this. Believe me, I've put about 25 hours into this job so far, and I'm not complaining at all. Let's have a look at the slide valve. Oh, wonderful. One port opens slightly and the other one doesn't open at all. How this engine runs is a bit of a mystery to me. Really, it can't run in this condition, but it does, only just. The slide valve hasn't been machined correctly. It's too long, and you can see this in the clip. I'll fix this later on in the video, but for now I just want to remember the slide valve as it was before I got my hands on it. I'm going to have a close look at this cross shaft because there's something wrong with it. If you've been following the series, you may remember that I drilled a detent in the end of this shaft where the rocking arm is positioned. Unfortunately, the grub screws that the previous owner fitted were too big to go into the detent. I used smaller grub screws and all was well. I removed the slide valve. I'd like to take this opportunity to show you it in detail. As you can see, it's the wrong shape, it's too long. So I'm going to remachine it, and to do this I'm just going to remove the excess metal using my trusty 1-inch belt sander. I've been doing jobs like this for some years, so I don't really need to mark anything out anymore. I can just see where it needs to be. After grinding the valve to size, I cleaned it up on a piece of wet or dry sandpaper just to deburr it. The reason why I removed the bearings, by the way, was I could not pull out the rocking shaft. Whether it's bent or whether it's too tight, I don't know. But the only way I could pull the shaft out of the bearings was to remove them first. Pushing the shaft back into the bearings wasn't quite so difficult. I retightened the 2 bolts that I removed, and then I wipe away all the oil from around the area. This engine leaks oil very badly from around the steam chest cover, and the cylinder itself. There is a technical problem with possibly the length of the arms that operate the valve. They've got some fancy lines cut into them, not in the middle, may I add, but for some reason one is longer than the other. That's possibly why the crossbar that operates the valve is firmly stuck in the block into which it fits, possibly using Loctite. I don't really want to go there. I'm going to live with this engine, badly made as it is. I've taken this job much further than I first anticipated, but to be honest, I'm enjoying every minute of it. I like a challenge. Maybe that is the reason why in the past I've been married twice. Anyway, that's enough of that. I'm cleaning away all the surplus oil and the residue from the sealant that I used on the gasket. The sealant that I've used for the gasket, by the way, is not silicone based. It's some stuff called Jet Blue Plus, and it's a little bit like the old plumber's jointing. It's definitely not silicone based. Once I'd reassembled all the components, I thought it would be a good idea to give the engine a test run. The parts of this engine are still quite stiff from the reassembly, but it appears to be running a lot better, although the timing's not perfect. I'm not using the Allen key this time for the timing, I'm using it to tighten up the grub screws because they're not really gripping the shaft, I think I will drill 2 more detents in this area. Now it's time to remove the cylinder in order to get rid of the oil leak. Unfortunately, my spanner just would not undo this bolt, so I started it off with a pair of pliers, then spun the bolt out with the point of a screwdriver. When I put the bolt back in place after I'd done the job, I could actually get the spanner on it just enough to tighten it. Now the cylinder is completely free from the base and I can remove it, being very careful not to bend the exhaust pipe. The cylinder is held to the base plate using countersunk bolts. Quite small, easily sheared off countersunk bolts, so you have to be careful. I didn't shear them off and I didn't burr them over. I used the proper screwdriver that was the right size. After cleaning up the plate, I then refitted it using JetBlue Plus. I mentioned this earlier. This is what it looks like when I've put too much on the job. I only need this sealant to be on the gasket, not everywhere over the base. Before reassembly, I'm using a piece of Scotch-Brite to clean up the bottom of the cylinder. And in case you wonder what the black mark is underneath, I did that with a felt-tip pen, just to tell me which part of the base went to the end where the steam chest is. I'm retightening the bolts, being very careful not to over-tighten them, and using the correct size screwdriver. Initially, as before, I spun the bolt into position using a small screwdriver. Once again, the bolt nearest to the bearing was difficult, but I could just get enough purchase on it with the spanner to nip it up. This crossbar is a very tight fit in the block in the centre, and it's a very tight fit in the valve operating arms. I'd just like to mention something about tools. Here are 2 pairs of pliers. Both have their uses. One pair has serrations on the inside of the jaws, the other one is smooth, and that's the one I'm using for retightening the piston rod into the fitting on the Watts parallel motion. Time for a test run. The timing's a bit better and it's running altogether better than it did. That's it for this episode. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thanks for watching and I hope you found it useful. Please take the time to visit my Mainsteam Models website and click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you can find other videos that you may like to watch. And by using the playlists, you can actually watch the videos back to back.